Hello, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden, a magical garden reaching for the stars. Guys, welcome back to the live show. We are here in a beautiful outdoors. I just finished doing a little bit of writing. I am working on a particular project and I had a little bit of lunch as well. It was really cute. The weather is nice. I said rather than stay indoors and film, I said I'm going to use this opportunity, this beautiful, gorgeous weather, to come before you guys and talk about some of the things that I wanted to talk about. But before I get into today's topic, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that bell so you be notified every time I upload or go live on this channel, as well as check out my vlog channel at Elizabeth Magical Garden. I go live on that channel as well. It's been some little fun activities that I have included on that platform, so be sure to check that out, as well as sign up for my podcast. It's free at Elizabeth Magical Garden. Again, all the information will be down below. Okay, so now we got that out. So, create, live, gather, and become. What comes to mind when we think about that? A lot of times I find that when we are in our I'm outside, guys, so my allergies, but we can't let the allergies stop us. So we're gonna have our water, and we're gonna make sure that we take little swigs while we speak. Yeah, so I find that a lot of people that are using the law of attraction kind of get caught up on one aspect of the practice than the other. And what I mean by that is, of course, a plane is passing. It was totally quiet the whole time, guys. And of course, when I go live on this platform, this is when uh, life wants to happen. But we're going to move forward. A lot of times when people are practicing the law of attraction, I find that it's easy to focus on the future, focusing on the main goal, which is something that is needed. You should definitely be keeping your goals in your mind's eye. But in saying that, all aspects of time is relevant, whether it's the past, whether it's the future, or whether it's the present. And juggling all three aspects in terms of how we view time. Remember, everything is upon perspective, right? So not only focusing on the future the future outcome, which is extremely important, but also focusing on the other aspects. Like, what an example I would give you is using the past self to nourish your present self. If you have created anything in your life before, right, and now you find yourself in this present moment in a space where your present goal is has expound. It's really big, right? It's way bigger than when you were using your imagination when you were as a child, to be as basic as that, right? But over the course of the years, you have obtained and was able to achieve certain things. So when you think back to all the things that you were able to overcome, all the things that you were able to progress in, you can use that feeling. You could use that feeling of satisfaction, gratitude, um, just feeling good within self in your present moment, regardless of you not achieving entirely in this very moment, because you already achieved it. Again, we are bridging the gap from where we are now to um, the space that we see ourselves in. So I have a couple of things that I would suggest to do, to practice, um, that, just these things will just allow you to maintain a good level of balance through your manifestations. So the first one I want to discuss is creating something. A lot of times we are able to create more when we are brave enough to create. And creating something doesn't have to be so big. I would always suggest writing, because writing allows you to focus. It allows you to kind of like mind dump all your thoughts, so you clear out anything that is not necessary in your mind. A lot of times we hold too much in our minds, and it's really hard to focus on anything. So the more you get out, right, of your thoughts, the more things that you just get out, you allow yourself the space to create more freely. Because through writing, through creative writing, you're able to see and guide yourself. It's just like a little map into your mind to see why and where your thought process is happening. So you'll be able to like clear out the things that is not prevalent to the things that you want now. Because a lot of times you can feel like, okay, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm going to do, but because you have so many other things pulling for your attention, it's hard to have that type of stamina of focus that is needed, especially when you are manifesting. And let me give you an example. Okay, so yesterday and the day before, it started Saturday with me, I would say. I woke up with this urge to create. And when I say create, not edit, not um, do anything that uh, caused me to think in that retrospect. I wanted to do something that was tactile, something that I could touch. I wanted to use my hands. I want to use my hands. I have to say, of course, I'm using my hands when I'm editing, but I wanted to just not have to think so hard, but just do the being able to relax in creating, where I didn't have to have too much concentration, which still gave me the ability to create something, but still receive um, solace in rejuvenation. So what happened is I laid out all the things that I wanted to do. I decided to give myself a manicure, and because I have all the things, so I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to, because I could have easily went to the spa and got a manicure, but I wanted to stay in, and I wanted to just rejuvenate and heal myself. And when I say heal myself, allow myself the freedom to just be, not have to go, not have to put on, not have to do anything that, again, was asking more energy of me. So I laid everything down. I had all the cute little stuff, and then make it cute. Like whatever you choose, whether it's painting, whether it's writing, whatever you are creating, allow yourself the allow yourself the grace of also implementing all the other things that is necessary for you to create. I am outdoors, and having the blessing to do what I love and having the view that I have, like, I'm just so grateful. So why wouldn't I implement all of the things, or I should say, why wouldn't I keep all the things that is um, giving me energy around me? I just want to let y'all know ahead of time, there are a group of children that seems like they may be heading our way. And so if you hear any pitter patter, if you hear any uh, loud noise, that's because the kids are passing. It's such a beautiful day. A lot of people. It was just a whole bunch of little kids. They had their little picnic. A lot of people that are. It's summertime, so a lot of kids are exploring. No one is going to stay inside with such a beautiful day like this. And nevertheless, why would you have kids inside if you don't have to? So we, especially I should say, the fact that we live in New York City, the weather is come see, come saw, up and down. So when we have beautiful days like this, New Yorkers, the first thing we do is head out. No one really wants to stay in the house if you don't have to. So just want to give you a head up. Oh, I think they went the other way, so we might be free. But just in case, just want to give y'all a little privy in advance, respectfully. So allowing myself to create on that level, I put everything out. Everything was looking cute. And then what happens, because the how can I say, because of all the accoutrements that I had around me and that was looking so delicious to me, my presentation, I decided to go live on my vlog channel. Sorry guys, the phone. I decided to go live. Somebody just messaged me. I decided to go live on my vlog channel, and with that being said, I created a nice meditative live stream that will eventually find somebody. A couple of people who came by, and I was so happy. But the bigger picture was I wanted to create something, a bit of peace that I was giving to myself, and I wanted to display it and have it available for somebody else that was in need for that type of video. Again, subscribe to my vlog channel. It's at Elizabeth Magical Garden. All the links will be down below. And shout out to the podcast if you're listening to this on if you're listening to this message on a podcast. I just want to say thank you for being here. Be sure to check out the podcast channel because you'll be able to see the visuals. I go live on that channel, so be sure to check that out in advance. I should say thank you in advance. So just because I took the leap to potentially, again, guys, I'm outside, so you're gonna hear different type of noise. Just because I decided to take the initiative to do something kind for myself and create something for myself, the spinoff was me continuing to do what I love, because I love going live. I love creating videos. I always, editing has always been a sweet spot for me, but I have to say, like, what going live or creating these live shows for you guys, what it does, I feel like there is a deeper connection with the potential prospect of you coming in and maybe asking questions and chiming in as well. So I like that kind of feedback on some of the things I'm speaking about because, being that I'm live, if you have a question, definitely leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer those questions to the best of my ability. So creating something out of nothing. I did do a video again that is on my vlog channel, creating something out of nothing. And what do I mean about that? Just to like shortly explain that. Uh, Listen, the imagination is vast. And when you take the time to meditate and you see things in your mind's eyes, at the end of the day, when you open your eyes, you no longer see it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, creating something out of nothing, meaning using your imagination, bringing forth what was in the dark into the light, basically. The sun is in and out, but I'm here for, oh, and the sun is back. Right? So when we take time to create, we give ourselves so much joy, because creating is not about being perfect. It's not about having, now there's times where you, although there's no such thing as perfect, there is times where you want to be as perfect as possible. But even with that being said, giving yourself grace, understanding that there's ebbs and flows in life. Look at this. A person with the radio just passed. I'm outside. I'm telling you that a bunch of kids may, stampede through here. You can't get any more imperfect than that. But that, I believe, that's where the beauty lies, and that's where the creation really lives in, which is a great segue for the next one, which is live. Live your life. Let me tell you something. I realize that problems, issues in life will always be. Like, it's not that I am being negative. It's not that, you know, I'm calling these things, but life is life, and you can't have you can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the light without the dark. Both of them is necessary. And I don't even really like to even say dark, like light and dark, because for some reason, and maybe it's because of the doctrines that I was brought up with, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I was brought up Catholic. The thing about it is, a lot of the times we were led and we were taught that anything in the dark is evil, is wrong, stay away, just stay in the light. Just stay in the light and never go to the dark. Like, if you could avoid the dark at all times, do it by all measures. But it doesn't, when you take full responsibility of self and you think about it, like, that is like totally impossible. You close your eyes to go to sleep. You shut off the lights to get in a state of mind of REM, to get into a deep sleep. You need the dark to heal, because it's not it's not until you truly just like go to sleep for, for a good amount of hours, at least 8 hours, is the body able to rejuvenate and heal itself, because that's what your body does when you have that time of slumber. Your body, your cells are rejuvenating, they're healing. So to be afraid of the dark is kind of like, it doesn't make any sense. It's counterintuitive. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because you need it. The light is the ability to obtain what is hidden. Okay. A lot of times people are talking in parables. A lot of these biblical texts are to be interpreted. And with the naked eye, light is being able to see. But you can also have light in the dark. That's why there's no reason to be afraid of anything, to be honest. I find that fear is a construct of old experiences that has that was that had the ability to sink into the conscious mind. And one of the reasons why these things are still felt, whatever didn't put you in your best life, or whatever experience you had, is because of the memories. And the memories, once perceived, is a memory gone through once again. So you'll find yourself reliving um, moments over and over again. And every time you allow, or I should say, every time you relive a moment, you further construct um, a construct within your subconscious mind, if that makes any sense. But living a life of abundance is doing what I'm doing right now. You know, it's not just the creating, it's the living. You know, the living and the creating is the living is the secret sauce, in my humble opinion, because allowing yourself to live is allowing yourself to create, allowing yourself the ability to explore, grow, learn, produce, make mistakes. These things are needed. I should say these are ingredients are needed for your higher purpose. How else are you going to know what to do and what not to do? How else are you going to know what to continue doing and what not to continue doing? You're not, because of your perspective and not allowing yourself the freedom to do certain things because of what you perceive others to perceive about you. But if you no longer care what other people think about you, you'll be able to be more resilient in your thought process, which will able you to manifest quicker. I legit manifest the life that I'm living right now. This is no mistake. And even that being said, I'm still manifesting. I'm still moving. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. I'm way further than I was before. But once I started, once I started studying alchemy, I want to say guarantee. Well, I want to say guarantee, but I can really say that it literally changed my life in an instant. And manifesting doesn't take that long. It doesn't have to take that long. Now, there are certain things that may appear to be taking a long time. Like you may be saying, well, I want to um, get married. I want to buy property. I want to buy a house. If those are the things that you want, understanding that there is a certain amount of events that has to continue happening in order for you to have those experiences. I'm going to repeat that. There is a certain amount of events that needs to occur in order for you to have a particular experience. If you call yourself a writer and you don't write, are you really a writer? If you don't produce movies, videos, etc., are you really a producer? And that is deep what I just said, if you really think about it, because once you really understand what I just said, it frees you, because like you, anytime that you're not doing the thing, anytime you're not in alignment with the thing. I remember I seen this thing with Oprah, and she said something like that. You know, manifestation is being in alignment, being in alignment with the thing that you are asking for or you are achieving. You can't say you want this but then do another. And there is levels. More and more will constantly be required of you. And I think this is when people um get like get it twisted, because what happens is the bigger the goal, the bigger the dream, the bigger the goal. No, the bigger the dream, the bigger the responsibilities. And as time progresses and as you escalate in your manifesting journey, more and more is going to be required of you. More sacrifices is going to be required of you. Um, are you a person of your word? Are you able to consistently live the life as if it was? Like, it doesn't matter. Let's just say, okay, this is my live show. This is a spin-off from my podcast that I created that platform over 3 years ago. Okay, it has obtained its own root or outside of this platform, which is YouTube. You know that you're watching this live. And with that being said, I'm still growing. There's still progressions happening. There's still tweaks. There's still so many things that I could sit here and say, oh, or I should say, I can allow myself to get overwhelmed with all the things that I have planned, or I can allow myself to come from a place of gratitude and benefit from what I'm producing in front of you now, right? Because there is no rush. There is no rush. If you can see it, you can achieve it. I find leaning on that brings solace and peace within oneself, right? Because this is how you say, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. It's not about, oh, I want to do this next week. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to go hard. And then you just burn out. What it is a consistent hit or ding of the bell. You know, just keep hitting that rock. Is a rock is hard, right? I don't have a rock right now to show you guys, but I mean, obviously we know what a rock is, and that is not something that will crack easily. But constant pounding in the same exact area produces change, because the frequent contact between the material and the rock compounding over and over again will result in change. It'll crack eventually. Something is going to chip off. So if we use that in our lives and living in a way where we are literally living the life that we see fit. You know what I mean? I remember when I was working a physical job, I would do certain things. Like, I remember I would take time to vlog when this is way before I started my podcast, but I'm just giving you a short story of what did I do um, that I truly believe that got me to this point. One of the things I did, I remember I had this little Canon camera. It was like the craze back in the day. It's like this big. It's so small and compact. It's a a fisheye lens, and everybody was using it. All the vloggers was using it at that time. And I remember I brought one of those cameras, and it was perfect because I was able to put it in my bag and pop it out anytime out and about. So what I would do is vlog sometimes on the way to work, or vlog more than likely was when I got out of work. I just seized the moment and allow myself the grace to gather and produce what I could at the time. And me constantly doing that allowed me to build confidence within myself. You know, sitting in front of a camera in public is not the easiest thing to do for a lot of people. Now, nowadays, it might be a little easier because of how time has changed. You know, everything, people are now more than likely working remotely, especially after the pandemic. So we live in a world now where people are mobile most of the time. Everybody is on social media, so everybody is always on their camera. So it's not foreign to see somebody vlogging or speaking to a camera. You don't even know if they're vlogging or not. I'm sitting here broadcasting this particular um, episode on the show, and knows no one is the wiser, right? But there was a time it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. And I did it anyway. I did it anyway. You know, a lot of times you might live in a demographic where people don't share in the thing that you're doing, or or your belief systems. What do? Do you not live your life? Do you not achieve? Do you not pursue your dreams? No, you go for it. You go for it. So living and creating goes hand in hand, because when you take time to live, you're automatically going to want to create. A lot of times people suffer from depression or anxiety from overuse of thoughts in one area. I know for me, anytime that my anxiety, I would say most times that my anxiety went through the roof, is because I got uh, fixated in one area, whether it was is reading too much into the future, which usually will build anxiety, or again, thinking too much in the future because maybe the present thing maybe triggered something, and then here you go and adding so much to the thing that is not even happening. A lot of times when we are experiencing things, is because we are experiencing things. We are the one allowing ourselves to go through these emotions that more than likely wouldn't have happened if we would have just chose to focus on the present moment, right? Again, guys, I am outside recording this particular show. So again, if you hear the noise, there you go. Number 3, gathering, to gather. You know, I always love to go out in the morning with coffee in my thermos and just watch nature, just watch the show, especially in the fall, right? Because you get to see all the little squirrels, gathering their nuts, birds hopping around, picking up leaves here and there, for their nests, right? Preparing for the somber parts of the year, preparing for the colder half of the year, right? Getting things nice and cozy, nesting. And this is something that I feel is definitely looked over when manifesting, because as you create, as you live, you should also be gathering information. You should also be building your arsenal. I When I wake up, after giving gratitude and giving thanks um, for the new day and for the present moment, I like to listen to a book, 90% of the time I'm listening to a book. I'm always reading. I'm always reading or listening to a book. I usually get my books off of Audible. That is the easiest way to educate yourself, in my humble opinion, while still getting everything else done. So while I'm putting on my makeup, I can be listening to a book. While I am doing anything that is needing my close attention, I am listening to a book or a podcast. I'm educating myself. I'm gathering information that will suit my higher purpose, because education is something that never ends, right? I think it's safe to say that. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. It's a upside down spiral of a never ending story, which is so exciting to me. I love to learn. I love to um, read upon topics that will further expound my present reality, which will allow me, in part, to use the things that I learn that will allow me to continuously gather, or I should say, secure what I already know, right? Because sometimes it's not so much that you might not even know the topic. Sometimes you may already know the topic, but you need a little refresher course, or you want to maybe listen to um, a book or a podcast over, just to get some nuggets, just to see things. Maybe you'll see things from a different perspective. Because listen, when people read the Bible, it's the same words, it's the same story. But every time you open that book, that biblical text, you receive something different. I read many different type of books. I don't personally believe that there is only one sacred thought. I believe that there are many, 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 many different ways of receiving your divinity, being one with self. Um, there are so many different cultures that have their own enriched point of view that I personally feel would be capping myself. You know, so when I found alchemy, or I should say, when alchemy found me, because this is an old teaching, I realized that, number one, a lot of the things that a lot of things I was already doing, a lot of the things I realized that other institutions were saying the same thing, and it's just really amazing how, when you really, really take the time to seek, you gather that you are, I should say, for lack of words, you are confronted with the depth of so many new realities, right? So the gathering of information. Another thing is gathering of self, right? Checking in. I feel like every quarter is important to it's important for you to check in. I hope I'm not getting bit by these mosquitoes, baby. I forgot my spray, my bug spray. Every quarter, it is wise to check in with yourself, because you know what, sometimes it's not so much about a particular goal, which is that's always the main thing, but sometimes you change as a person. And because you change, because your I should say, your perspective changed, so now you changed, the goal may show up in a different way, but still it's on the same, so you're still on the same course, because you are still physically you, but because you have expound in terms of your perspective, the way you go about, the way you choose to go about your goals may change, and don't be afraid of that. Don't feel like you have to force feed yourself to do something because you already started it. Now, I will say be mindful of just start, finish, start, not finish, start, not finish. But I always say try to have at least maybe two creative things that you're doing at once. And here's why. Some people might uh, shy away from it, but I feel like scientifically it makes a lot of sense because exhaustion. If you're always doing the same thing, after a while, because it's the same thing, it's gonna, you're gonna find that your ability to do the may not be as refreshing as it was when you first started the thing. And I find rather than always get into a position where start, finish, start, not finish, how about putting it down for a bit? How about taking steps back and saying, you know what? I learned to digest the things that I have came across. And let me see how, from what I have gathered, how I can implement these things into my life and the things that I am manifesting, right? And even you might even find that some of those things, or maybe all of them, has nothing to do with what you're doing, but your perspective has changed because you walked away from the very thing that you love just for a little bit, just to check in and to give yourself that ability to sort out your thoughts. When you come back to that thing, and it's scientifically proven, anytime you walk away from something and you take rest and you allow yourself to rejuvenate, when you come back to that thing, you are much more creative. You just have the ability to go harder with that thing. When you look at athletes, right, that's why rest is extremely important for them. They are vigorously using their muscles. Without rest, they're not going to be able to perform in the same way. It's just not going to happen. So keep that in mind when you are manifesting, because I find a lot of times when we are coming from a place of motivation and excitement, we can burn ourselves out, right? And I believe that people that listen to my podcast are a part of that comes and watch these live shows on my podcast. I truly believe that all of you guys are creators in some way or the next. I mean, legit, we're all creators because we have the ability to bring forth things into the unknown. But especially as women, women have the ability to manifest within the body and the mind and the spirit. Men are able to use their hands to create and build and maintain what women put out, right? That's why there's a difference between a mother and a father, right? Until the mother has cultivated this life within her and seen it through and brought it forth, that man is not a father yet. He's waiting. For him, it's a waiting game. He needs for her to finish doing what she's doing in order for him to reap the father benefits. This is why honoring women is extremely prevalent. I tell my son all the time, and this is not about like just being a doormat. A lot of times when people, I find a lot of men, when they hear worshiping women, they take it in the wrong context where it's like they tend to get, I would say, certain type of men, not all men, not high valued, wise men, because I feel like upon the level of education is the ability to understand what I am saying, right? Honoring your mother, any woman that you are in close relations to, that honoring of the divine and feminine nature allows a man to create on a different level. Guys, there is a truck. I guess it's like the the city ranger, or the how can I say, the park rangers, making sure everything is good. This park is really big. I'm actually at one of the biggest parks in New York City, so there's always things being done. You need a car to go around if you're trying to get to certain parts of this park. But anyway, just want to give you a quick synopsis for the people that are listening to the podcast and not watching the show. Head on over to Elizabeth Magical Garden podcast so you can see and watch the views. As I was saying, that ability to honor the divine feminine within a woman allows a man to create and receive the downloads that is necessary for him to get to his higher self. Because a woman, just her being with you, a woman's nature is something that is always birthing new and higher frequencies because of our ability to bring forth life, whether you've done it or not. And this is why understanding who you are as a female is extremely important, because when you truly understand who you are from within and you create on that frequency, and then you get in a relationship with a man or woman, I don't care who you are, but just for argument's sake, we're talking about the two halves, which is um, the divine feminine and the male aspect, right? When these two get together on a harmonious state, the the ability to create on a higher frequency is tremendous. And this is why you see they call things like power couples. Like, oh, that's a power couple right there. When you see former President Obama and Michelle Obama, that is what I would consider a power couple. Not just because, he was the president and she was the first lady, because of the dynamic and the respect that is being held between both parties. I read Miss former First Lady Michelle Obama's book, and it honestly made me cry. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I believe she wrote two books. I don't remember the title of this particular book I'm talking about, but because it was a while ago, but it was former First Lady Michelle Obama. She wrote um, a couple of books, but one of her books, all her books, I believe, is good from what I heard. But there was one that I read. It was about maybe 2 years ago. So this is 2024. So that's a little map. That's a little roadmap for the book. I actually listened to it on Audible. I would actually, let me see if I could. I can't do that right now. Okay, I was gonna see if I could go on my iPad and look for the book, but if anything, I'm going to link it down below for those who are interested in the book, because it was a really really good book. Again, I listened to it on Audible. I actually am thinking about purchasing the book just to keep it in my repertoire, a physical book, because it was really good. And the reason why I'm even bringing her book up is because she had her own adversities, right? But yet she still cultivated and was able to have a system within self that allowed her to constantly show up the way not only her husband, which was the former president of the United States of America, also for us. That is a major responsibility. And I really feel that because she had her own harmonious qualities constantly being worked on, she was able to do and achieve the things that she was able to achieve, right? So when we see people now, this is a woman of a certain stature, but regardless of where you fall on the spectrum, you have the same capabilities. And last but not least, become become the thing, embody the very thing that you desire, embody your manifestation, embody it. Get to the point where when people listen to you, see you, is around you, your frequency that you have cultivated to be on a certain leveling plane that you're working towards to receive in your life, right? Again, just because you close your eyes and you see the thing, and when you open it, it's no longer like visual or physically you're able to touch it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So with that thought being said, knowing that it does exist, maybe not on this emotional plane, but as I have stated before, the compounding of creating, gathering, and living the life allows you to become, allows you to evolve, allows you to grow, because education will never leave you the same. Educating yourself will never leave you in the same way that it found you. And I'm going to say that again. Educating yourself will never leave you in the same way that it found you. So there's no choice but to become the thing if that is what is desired, right? Once you start to shut off old belief systems, realizing that you play a major part of this game called life, and making it a point to do your inner work, because it all stems from within. When you do the inner work, now that you can manifest and not sit and meditate for a certain, of course you can, of course you can. But I find, or I should say, I have found through personal activities that once I have chosen to do my particular inner work, I was able to manifest on a higher level, quicker and more consistent, because the common denominator through all of this is love. Love attracts love. If you love who you are, you love what you do, people, things, situations, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, all these different aspects on every plane, on every way you look, connect to that particular frequency, because love is love is literally the most powerful thing in the world. And once you love yourself, you truly love yourself, you will be able to create on such a level that you probably would not have ever been able to perceive, all because you took the time to go in and seek and find. Because it's only when you become guys, my phone was